Shulman and Dick Vitale.
There are few campuses in the country with as strong a connection with their basketball team as exists here at Duke. And with the ACC so competitive, so congested, every game means so much in this league. And it means a lot to both the Florida State Seminoles and the Duke Blue Devils here at Cameron tonight.
ESPNU Campus Connection Week.
Oh, the crowd is going bananas.
UCONN.
Has it dented the Tar Heels' confidence?
I recently spoke with Gerald Henderson.
Students giving you an all-access pass to campus life across the country.
I still feel like we're the best.
This is our house.
Welcome to Wednesday Night Hoops, part of ESPNU's Campus Connection Week. And what a connection this campus has with its basketball program. Number 7 Duke hosting Florida State tonight here at the Cameron Indoor Stadium. And a look at the ACC standings tells you how much this game, Dick, how much every game means in the ACC. So competitive and so congested, right?
Well, it's been unpredictability, but I'll tell you one thing that's been predictable. Duke is 42-2 on this floor the last 3 years. The only team to beat them, a team down the road. I can't think of its name. They're from Chapel Hill. They got back in the winning column yesterday against North Carolina State. The Tar Heels have beaten them twice in the last 3 years.
A look at the lineup for Florida State. Keep an eye on Chris Singleton, 6'9" small forward, and 7'1" Solomon Alabi, the man in the middle. This Florida State team is huge. So's Duke, as you look at the size that they've got with the likes of Plumlee, Thomas, Singler, and more size coming off the bench. These are a couple of teams with NBA size, Dick.
I think the real key of the game, when you talk about certain keys, Duke must really force some turnovers and get some easy layups. On the other side, you look at Florida State, they better contain the perimeter shooting of Duke. They allow 7 threes to be made a game, Florida State, and that plays right into the strength of Duke.
Both teams coming off wins. Florida State a 2-point win over Georgia Tech on Sunday. Duke very impressive winning down at Clemson on Saturday night. Singler a look for 3. And we've got a foul on Miles Plumlee. So Alabi a foul, Plumlee a foul. Mike Krzyzewski in his 30th season as head coach at Duke, 776 wins. And you said on Saturday night before Clemson, he's fired up. This game means a lot to him. He had that same kind of feeling about this game, don't you think?
Well, he really told us before the game, he said he was fired up. That game was really meaningful because sometimes you lose a game like that, it could compound into another loss. We saw with Clemson. They lose that game at home. They were all fired up for it. They get beat last night. Yeah. Reggie Jackson does a great job for Boston College. See, one loss could lead to 2.
No question about it, yeah. Out of bounds off the leg of Thomas. And it'll stay with Florida State. A check of the Star Watch. Chris Singleton, a multi-talented performer offensively, defensively. He can shoot. He can get to the rim. Kyle Singler, of course, one of the big 3 for Duke. And this is a matchup we're going to keep an eye on. These two guys could be covering one another a lot of the night.
I don't believe Singler's played up to his potential, to how good he can be. I really believe that he has struggled shooting the basketball. He's much more capable. I know the numbers are impressive. He does a good job defensively. He's had a bad wrist, but he's capable of more. He can elevate his game.
A foul on Nolan Smith, who was so good in the second half of Duke's win over Clemson on Saturday. Nothing but whistles so far in the early going here in this game.
You know, Florida State coming off a win over a quality team in Georgia Tech. And what they do with that great size, Singleton and Alabi, they really neutralize big people. In fact, Lawal, in 2 games against Florida State, had only 1 field goal in both games.
Ryan Reed, and this is a 12-footer. Rebound Singler. Back comes Duke, led by Shire.
They got the 3 S's, super scintillating, sensational.
Shire baseline. Thomas gives it up. Nolan Smith from the corner. And the rebound to Alabi. Alabi, a 7'1" sophomore from Nigeria, who is getting better and better. And stepping out of bounds on that play is Singleton.
You know, it's really amazing with Alabi. He made 2 big foul shots at the end of the game with Georgia Tech. As you look at Leonard Hamilton in his 8th season, he's done a heck of a job at Miami and now at Florida State, 2 football schools. But when you think about Oliver, he's an outstanding free throw shooter. He's got to get free a little bit more offensively to get the ball.
Florida State made the NCAA tournament last year. Hard to believe this, Dick, for the first time since 1997. And they're certainly looking to get back and to maybe do some damage in the NCAA tournament this year. Reed draws the double team, and a reach-in foul is going to be on Lance Thomas.
You know what they're searching for? They're searching for someone to become a star offensively. They relied so much on Tony Douglas, now playing with the New York Knickerbockers, who led the conference in scoring last year. That surprised me. I thought it would have Hansbrough led the conference.
And Douglas had a huge game in this building on senior night a year ago when Duke won 84-81, a great game. Duke and Florida State played 3 times last year, including the ACC championship game, also won by the Blue Devils.
Well, Blue Devils shot so well in that game. Doubling up on the baseline.
Kitchen cut off, nice find, and Oliver the slam.
Oliver gets the dunk, but it was the good look by Kitchen off the double team. He read the double team really well. He's going through an adjustment period, as is Singleton, who was a post player in high school.
Shire knocks down the 3. Both Singler and Shire have seen their shooting numbers go down in conference play, but a good early omen, if you will, for John Shire.
In fact, the entire team has really struggled shooting the ball in conference play. That's been an area of concern of Coach Kent.
Singleton now with Thomas on him, and a travel called on Singleton.
Going to watch Florida State work on the interior and get the ball down inside. Draws the double team. See, as soon as the double team comes over, there's the double team. He finds the open man. Great look by Kitchen. He find that open man.
Kitchen defending Shire right now. Davidus Dulkes, number 4, draws the assignment of Nolan Smith.
Dulkes can shoot the basketball and good defensive player as well.
Singler turns it over to Singleton. Again, a great matchup. We'll be keeping an eye on. Beautiful feed from Singleton to Reed, but he travels.
He didn't have really a good angle right there, but Singleton showing some of that versatility. Came out of high school, was heavily recruited. Kentucky, everybody involved in him. They're waiting for him to really take off. He's had 2 of the last 3 games. He's been sensational, and sandwiched between that game was a 2-point game against Virginia Tech.
Smith on the drive, and he's fouled by Dulkes. Now, we talked a little bit about the size of Florida State. Florida State coming off that win over Georgia Tech. And here's what Georgia Tech head coach Paul Hewitt had to say about the front line of the Seminoles. Oliver, Reed, and Singleton. He says that's the best front line in the ACC. Now, think of the size and talent that Duke has. Think of the size and talent that Carolina has, that Wake has. This is elite. You know, basketball's supposed to be getting smaller, Dick, but so many teams in this league have just monster front lines.
You know, Paul Hewitt has some great insight.
Yes, he does. That's right.
Kid.
Lawal and Favors.
That's right.
Peacock. Plumlee, no. Plumlee had 19 and 14 in that game last week against Wake, and hardly heard from the last couple of games.
The Plumlee brothers both were outstanding in that game. One at 11 and 7, and Mason, I believe, was the 19-14. Miles was 11 and 7. Duke played suffocating defense against Clemson. Clemson had 47 points in the entire game.
Another turnover. Shire 2-on-1 with Smith. The bump and the basket.
They play so well together. They really make great music. They really have a great efficiency between them. You watch Shire. He's so effective with the basketball. Head up all the time. Great vision. Knows where his teammate is. Under control.
Shire was leading the nation in assist-to-turnover ratio for several weeks. He's now dropped off a little bit, but still 4th in the USA, 1st in the ACC. And at the line, Nolan Smith. Look at the increase in his scoring numbers. And I remember the first game we did this year involving Duke. I think it was the UConn game way back at the Garden in November. You said, watch out for Nolan Smith this year. He's going to have a big season.
He really has elevated his game. He went from 9 points a game to close to 19 now. Duke went to a little trap.
Kitchen for 3. Got it.
That's big for them. I think they're going to come after Florida State, trying to force the turnovers. I think they believe that's one area where they have the edge on the perimeter.
Mason Plumlee and Brian Zubek in off the bench for Duke. Luke Lautz, number 3, is checked in for Florida State, along with a freshman, number 21, Michael Snare. Singler muscles it up and in.
You know, Singler muscles it up. It was a nice look by Zubek from down in the low post.
Zubek could be a very important guy tonight because of his size, defending on Olive, who just scored over him with the left hand.
He doesn't get the ball enough. If you look at his numbers, he's shooting a terrific percentage, but he doesn't get a lot of touches. He's only played basketball since he's 15 years of age. He's a soccer player out in Nigeria.
Shire using the screen, buries the jumper.
Can't leave him open. I'll tell you, Dan, you can't allow him to be open. You got to recognize where he's on the floor, especially here in Cameron.
Shire fourth in the ACC in scoring at better than 18 points per game. And we've got a foul on Zubek of Duke to take us to immediate timeout. Olive scoring over Zubek moments ago. Heather Cox will tell you more about it when we come back to Cameron after this.
Hi, is Denise working?
Yeah, she's in the back. Can I take your order?
I'm just a little bit more comfortable ordering with Denise. Hey, hi. You remember me? I came by yesterday and gave me that 5-layer burrito. That new one for
89 cents.
Is that cool? Is that still cool?
It's an inside deal for everyone. Layers of seasoned beef, cheddar cheese, and a hidden layer of nacho cheese sauce. It's Taco Bell's new beefy 5-layer burrito for just 89 cents. Why pay more?
Hey, Brett, did you make a decision?
I might say yes.
All right, let's get this going. You gonna pull the trigger on this?
Well, I used to like green.
What if it were purple with yellow detail, little white horns, Nordic theme?
I'll take it.
We get you, we've got your TV. Get an extra 8% instant savings or 18 months no interest on total electronics purchases over $999. And get a free Samsung Blu-ray player with select Samsung TVs. Sears, life well spent.
Luckily, State Farm has some helpful ways to plan for your future. Not just car insurance, but car loans and life insurance too.
It's a miracle.
Oops.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Vanderbilt battles Kentucky, then Kansas State, Saturday on ESPN.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade.
Welcome back to Duke. Welcome back to Campus Connection Week. ESPNU Campus Connection Week. Always fun to come to Cameron and do a game with this great atmosphere, and fun to see firsthand for the first time this year Solomon Olive, the interesting story, great player, improving talent for Florida State. Heather Cox has more.
Well, Dan, on the surface, it may look like Florida State has a huge advantage inside with that 7'1" Solomon Olive, but for him to be a differentiator tonight, he's got to hold his ground inside. He's gained over 30 pounds since arriving from Nigeria, but according to Leonard Hamilton, it's all in his upper body, and he has what Hamilton calls a high center of gravity, making it too easy for opponents to displace Olive. So the key tonight, guys, watching where Olive initiates his offense. If it's in the paint, advantage Florida State. If not, Dan, the advantage goes to Duke.
Tell you one thing, Heather, he's got to get more shots. He's only averaging 8 shots a game, and he's shooting close to 60%, 59.3. But in 19 games, he's taken only 145 shots. He needs more shots. That will come with more instinct and more savvy and more experience how to get free.
A guy who literally didn't pick up a basketball until he was 15 years of age. Gets the feed from Reed, and already tonight, Olive's got 3 baskets, 6 points already, and a couple of rebounds.
Got to get him the ball on the interior. Played at a high school and prep school out in Orlando area, Mount Bird Academy. They had like 8 Division I players on the team.
And that's where Florida State first became aware of him, but like a lot of kids who come from Nigeria. As you mentioned, he played soccer growing up. He credits that for his good footwork. And his coaches, as Zubek lays it in, all of these coaches, Dick, say he is the nicest, most coachable, best teammate, hardest. Every nice thing you can say about a kid, they say about Olive.
They told me he could win the presidential election at his school. They say he's Mr. Popularity. Forget all the football players. He's Mr. Popularity.
Duke by 3, almost 6 minutes into the game. Good start for Shire. Good start for Olive. And a big battle inside between Olive and Zubek. Knocked away by Reed. Duke retains possession with 20 to shoot.
In our previous possession, Mason Plumlee made a great pass on the interior. Good inside play. He and Zubek together.
You hear the ovation as Smith comes out. Andre Dawkins is in, the freshman who didn't play in the last game at Clemson. The first time all year he didn't see any minutes.
You know, could be a real factor here tonight. He went through one sequence. My son-in-law who's here, Thomas Crew, said to me, watching the pregame, he said he didn't miss. He took 7 in a row from three-point range.
The foul's going to go on Singler. Singler trying to slow down Laux, who was diving for the loose ball.
Scrapping and hustling. Nothing like league play, bringing out the best. Yesterday had Michigan State in a real battle. The Spartans are able to survive. Hey, we got to give some love out to a couple of teams. UAB is 18-2. Coastal Carolina, coached by Cliff Ellis, 18-3. And what about, I'm going to tell you this, you think about giving some love. What about David Rose and BYU? Having a phenomenal year, and today they play against New Mexico. Got to give some love out.
You got to. You're right. Kitchen, nice look. Michael Snare, the freshman, misses the three.
They believe Snare's going to become a special player. Came out of California, heavily recruited, a McDonald's All-American.
Well, we talked about this on Saturday night, Dick, at Clemson. The Duke Blue Devils wearing the patches to help save Haiti. So many schools are doing so much to raise awareness and raise funds to help people out down in Haiti. Florida State was collecting donations at their last home game against Georgia Tech, and the Duke athletic program has gotten behind the effort as well. That was Xavier Gibson, #1, knocking it down for Florida State. With all the talent and all the size they've got, Gibson, who's a sophomore, comes off the bench. Some of the folks at Florida State think he's got the most upside.
They're 6'11", very agile. You know, you mentioned Haiti and Hoops for Haiti. The job they did, Kentucky and John Calipari, amazing. President called him. Somebody tweeted me today, said, hey, the president jinxed us. I said, no. I tweeted back, it wasn't the president, it was Devin Downey, baby.
You're
Devin
right.
Downey. A great run by Kentucky. They'll be back. For them to be undefeated at this time of the year and finally getting beaten, that's a tribute to John Calipari and all those young kids. You don't think about new system and new kids.
Brian Kelly, #34, has checked in for Duke. Less than 7 minutes in, and Mike Krzyzewski especially, the two coaches going pretty deep into his bench in the early going. Missed runner to the back come the Seminoles, looking for the lead.
Seminoles won their last 2 and lost 2 in a row to the Terps of Maryland. Gary Williams' kids doing a great job.
Leading the ACC right now, 4-1. Dawkins comes up with a loose ball, only to lose it again, but Les Jones will call it a held ball.
And here goes the alternate possession rule.
Now the #1 and the #2 teams in the country will be on ESPN on Saturday as part of ESPNU Campus Connection Week. Men's college basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy. Kentucky against a very good team from Vanderbilt, and then you and I will be in at Bramlage Coliseum in Little Manhattan Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV. Kansas and Kansas State. #1's been a dangerous perch recently.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you one thing. I can't wait to go to Bramlage. Poulin and Clemente were brilliant last night to beat Baylor. That place will be fired up. We're going down there. Game day crew will be there. It'll be a lot of fun.
Dawkins, Mike Krzyzewski said, just hasn't played well enough recently to earn playing time. He's in there early tonight as Kelly is called for the offensive foul, his first.
You know, Coach K told us, I really believe in him, and I think he's got a great future. He has not really earned playing time by the way he's practiced, but he went through an emotional, tough time. Sister driving up here to see him play with his mom, gets killed in a car crash, and his mom was critically injured, but she's doing a lot better, he told me today.
That happened in early December.
Prior to that, he was making shots, key shots.
Yeah. Kitchen, and we've got an illegal screen, the foul going on Gibson.
Both clubs really getting after it defensively. In fact, both clubs have something very similar. They both gave up the most points this year that they've allowed, and that was 88 against North Carolina State. Oh, look at that screen. Wow.
Shire got laid out by the Gibson screen. Both teams terrific defensively. Florida State allowing just over 60 points per game, and Duke just over 61. And Florida State, #1 in the country in opponents' field goal percentage.
35%.
Yeah.
And that's because of that great size inside, the wingspan, Singleton.
You talk about a guy who needed to knock down a shot. That's Andre Dawkins.
Tell you what, he didn't miss in practice. There's got to be room on the floor for a kid that can shoot the way he can shoot.
especially with Duke as thin as they are in the backcourt. But he's got to earn his way back onto the court. Gibson open on the baseline, and it'll be Duke ball.
Psychologically, that had to be a big lift, Dan. You're 100% right. I'm going to call you Dr. Dan. Forget Dr. Phil. We got Dr. Dan.
4-point lead
Dr.
for Duke.
Phil.
We got a Big 12 update for you. Dick permitting when we come back.
What's the deal with all these people rushing to work, drinking their mochachinos, cappuccinos, chocolatinos? Take a look at this. The Denny's Meat Lovers Trio. It's one of 3 new dishes for breakfast lovers being served for a limited time. I'd take one of these over a whatever chino any day.
From the director of Taken.
We've got you working with our top operative.
Got it. Good. He's the world's most ruthless assassin.
It's about terrorists.
Good thing he's on our side. John Travolta, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers from Paris with Love.
Welcome to Paris, baby.
Rated R in theaters February.
I want to go out and play.
Pretend I'm a pirate.
Learn to speak seagull.
Turn my phone off and my life on.
Thanks to lottery dollars, Oregon's favorite playground, Fort Stevens State Park, has been restored. The Oregon Lottery. It does good things. Lottery games are based on chance and should be played for entertainment only.
Wake up your whiskers with Electric Shave. Stands up whiskers for an up to 52% closer shave.
Man, that was close.
Electric Shave. Blade close. Electric smooth.
It's a revolution in pain relief.
The new Icy Hot Medicated Roll. Take what you need for shoulders, backs, joints, even arthritis. Medicated relief gets icy to dull pain, hot to relax it away. The new Icy Hot Medicated Roll.
With the roll, pain's under control.
Ryan Burr in studio. Let's get you caught up to date on some scores from around college basketball. Let's start with number 6 Texas, looking to break their 2-game losing streak. Avery Bradley, the freshman, connects Texas Tech by 1 on ESPNU. ESPN News also with live look-ins and some other scores. Vandy undefeated in the SEC. Connecticut loses again, this time to Providence. Oklahoma State wrapping up things on ESPN2. And Temple loses by 10 to Charlotte. Dan?
All right, thank you, boy. We just talked about Vandy, an impressive road win for Vanderbilt tonight. 15-point loss for UConn at Providence. You want to talk about somebody brave? You think you're brave? You think you're tough? Look at that guy. Now that guy's brave.
No, he's wacky. He's wacky sitting there. I'll tell you that. They love him. They were chanting Harry Potter to him. Harry Potter.
There are a scattered select few Florida State fans here to Cameron. This place seats just over 9,000. You got to earn your way into this building.
Well, my son-in-law brought his friend up, Derek Bird. He's a Florida State guy.
Yeah, but he didn't dress like a Florida State guy. He's incognito tonight.
He's a big-time lawyer in Sarasota. I'm going to vote for my son-in-law. He's running for Judge Crew.
Singler, it goes. Count the basket.
Hey, do you agree with me that Singler is a lot better than his numbers?
Well, his numbers are good.
They're good, but not as good as they could be.
There's no question that, especially in conference play, he hasn't knocked down shots like he has the last couple of years.
I mean, he should shoot better from the three-point line than his numbers indicate in conference play. I have such great expectations. I mean, I think a world of this kid's ability. Came from Oregon, same time as Kevin Love.
That's right. Let's get more on Kyle Singler now. Here's Heather.
Well, guys, one reason his field goal percentage might be a little bit down, that right wrist on his shooting hand. As you notice, there's a black bandage on it and actually a brace because he came down so hard on it a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I was told if he hadn't have braced himself with his elbow, he would have broken that wrist. Still isn't 100% receiving treatment for it every day and admits that it's affected his shooting touch.
And that was in the Wake Forest game, as Heather mentioned a couple of weeks ago, but he's played through it. And Mike Krzyzewski, like many coaches, if you say to him, hey, how's this guy feeling? How's that guy feeling? If they're in the lineup, then you're not injured, right? I mean, even though he is suffering because of it and obviously not 100%, he's well enough to play.
You know, a lot of players right now this time of the year got bumps and bruises.
Snare.
Hey, one of them Snare's got a great first step. Came out with a big-time reputation. Bulkies, by the way, played at Findlay Prep, where Avery Bradley played.
Bulkies originally from Lithuania. Tough bank shot by Nolan Smith, and that extends the lead to 8.
He's really become multi-dimensional with his ability to score off the bounce, shoot the three.
And now Leonard Hamilton wants a timeout. We'll step aside, and the Blue Devils' lead is up to 8.
Hey.
Terrific runner there by Nolan Smith to up the Duke lead to 8 just before the timeout. This is ESPNU Campus Connection Week. A little more on Nolan Smith, why he felt coming to Duke was right for him. He would talk about a father figure, talking about Mike Krzyzewski, of course, his father, Derek Smith, who played at Louisville, played in the NBA, passed away of a heart condition when Nolan was much younger. And Nolan Smith, also his dad, Derek Smith, very, very close with Johnny Dawkins, who at the time was the associate head coach at Duke before leaving to take over at Stanford.
Nolan told me before the game his dad passed when he was 8 years of age. I was telling him how proud his dad would be of him, not only as a player, but as a person. He's a terrific young guy. Lost his granddad yesterday.
That's right. So some tough times for Nolan Smith, playing through it. Comes up with the steal. Got Thomas with him. Plumlee had it, lost it, and Olive brings it in for Florida State.
You know, one great asset Duke has, if the game is close down the stretch, they're second in the nation shooting free throws.
The wing jumper for Chris Singleton, 6'9", sophomore. He can shoot the three. He can get to the rim. He's the guy Duke talked about more than any other Florida State player at practice yesterday.
Well, he's a big-time performer. He attacks the basket. He blocks shots.
How about Olive blocking that shot?
Yeah, you're not going to get too much on the interior. You can score a lot on the perimeter. Great entry. Good pass.
That was Luke Laux, the sophomore out of Clearwater, Florida, finding Olive on the interior.
Laux is an excellent passer, has good vision. They think he should shoot the ball a little bit more. We're going to watch Olive on the inside. Here's the block shot. Many times they'll call that interference or goaltending, rather. And you had direct look at the goal, but that was a legitimate block.
Number 2 on Miles Plumlee. He goes to the bench. Zubek is back in.
This kid's
at the line.
He's an outstanding free throw shooter.
Over 80% on the season, as you mentioned. Hit the 2 big ones late in the closing seconds to beat Georgia Tech. Although the first one, Dick, hit the back of the rim, bounced about 4 feet up in the air, and then dropped through the net.
But isn't it true that good shooters always get those bounces? See, I couldn't shoot, so I never got the bounces.
He's a guy far away from his family. They've never been here to see him play. They're back in Nigeria. As Thomas loses it out of bounds, or has it knocked out of bounds, it'll stay Duke ball.
You know, you think about Duke and all the great teams. You look at the banners here. This club, when you think of Duke and Leonard Hamilton, we were talking before the game about some of the problems they present. But this Duke's club, this Duke basketball team's margin of errors are not slim versus clubs in the past.
Pretty nice move on the inside by Zubek.
I love him. He's one of the favorites here.
They're going to need him tonight with the size of Florida State. Dual keys a miss. Rebound bounces free to Shire. Look at this pass ahead, but deflected out of bounds. Great hustle on the defensive end by Singleton.
Great size. Last year, the tallest team in Division I.
Florida State?
Yes, sir.
And Leonard Hamilton says they're going to get even more big players coming in next year. They'll be even bigger next year, as Chris Singleton says to the lady. Are you all right? Yeah. Sorry, I landed in your lap.
Came out of Dunwoody High School, Canton, Georgia.
Another 3, second of the night for John Shire.
Got to lock up threes. They give 7 a game. That's a lot of threes, and Duke really will take advantage of that area.
Tough pass. And Shire comes up with a loose ball. Does not have the numbers.
You know, young kids watch Shire dribble. Always the head up.
Around and out for Smith on the 3. Rebound Olive.
They're so excited about the future backcourt here with Seth Curry, Kyrie Irving. They think Irving from out of St. Pat's Elizabeth is going to be a special player.
A true point, and Curry's the younger brother of Stephen Curry. Good defense by Smith.
There's a look at Seth. His brother Stephen doing a great job with Golden State.
Had a 32-point game earlier this week.
Yeah, 28 as well. If it weren't for Jennings and Tyreek Evans, I think he's right behind those guys.
10 Florida State turnovers in 12 minutes tonight, and that's why they're down 8. Wide open Thomas from 17. Zubak swatted away by Singleton, and then Singler has it rejected.
They blocked 7 shots a game.
Yeah. Reed ahead of the pack to lay it in.
He's one of those real glue guys, you know, offensive rebounder, hang around the basket. Concerned Mike Krzyzewski led the USA to the gold medal. Had a little talent in that club, Mr. James and Mr. Blaine.
Kobe, Carmelo, Wade.
Wow.
Zubak called for the foul, his second. You like a good party?
Yeah.
You like a block party?
I like a block party. Here we go. A little block party. Oh, they're going to be partying down in Miami with the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning will win it.
What if there was no such thing as taking a chance? As having to decide to go for it? At The Hartford, we help businesses of all kinds feel confident doing what they do best. By protecting your business, your property, your people. You've counted on us for 200 years. Let's embrace tomorrow. And with The Hartford behind you, achieve what's ahead of you.
Better ingredients, better pizza is not a slogan. It is a way of life.
Papa's in the house.
It's 1st and 10 at Papa John's. And as an official sponsor of Super Bowl 44, for the first time ever, you get all large pizzas for just $10. Your choice of toppings, your choice of pizzas, $10. Even specialty pizzas like the Works, the Meats, and the 6 Cheese, just $10. It's 1st and 10. Order now at papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Crime is a part of our daily reality. Fortunately, there are professionals dedicated to the pursuit of justice. The ITT Technical Institute School of Criminal Justice offers a program that emphasizes theory, research, and practice in the study of criminal justice. This program offers students a foundation in criminal law, legal procedures, criminal evidence, and criminology. Graduates can pursue career opportunities involving cybersecurity, community corrections, and private investigations. Why wait any longer? Call now and help make this a safer and better place. ITT Technical Institute School of Criminal Justice, education for the future. To find out more, call 1-800-488-3116 or visit us on the web.
Welcome back to Duke and ESPNU Campus Connection Weekend. Schulman, Dick Vitale, Heather Cox, here to Cameron. 6-point lead for Duke. You talk about making a connection. We talked about so many schools, so many programs have gotten involved. The Duke women's basketball team out front, outside, with a bake sale tonight before the game. That stuff looks good.
How about some of those cookies? Come on, I'll give you some money for Haiti. Bring some cookies up here. I want some of those cookies.
Yeah, great job by them to raise money. Every penny, every dime, every dollar helps. And a great job by the Duke women's basketball team to do their share.
I'll tell you one thing about the USA. They respond and help and lend a hand when people are in need. They really, really do. I'm proud to say that I'm an American.
Nice look. Somebody missed an assignment, and Kitchen found Reed on the inside all alone.
Good look by Kitchen. Reason, head up. Reed sitting there for a little layup.
Dick, right now, Miles Plumlee, Brian Zubak, each with 2 fouls. So Mason Plumlee's in there, but Singler has slid to the power forward spot. You've got 3 guards in for Duke, which we haven't seen much this year.
Tell you one thing, though, Singler gives him another perimeter player as well. He can really stay on the outside.
Boy, Nolan Smith has that shot down pat. We saw a few of those Saturday night at Clemson.
You know, didn't he make big shots in that second half? First half was a standstill against Clemson. Little John was rocking.
Gibson, air ball on the turnaround. Wallaby is on the bench right now for Florida State. Shire, pull-up jumper over Singleton. Shire is hot tonight.
He's a big-time shooter. He's got the great release. Just tell my little grandsons, watch him shoot. He's got that great follow-through.
Reed somehow finds Gibson on the inside.
They're taking advantage of that great size.
There are your guys right there.
Oh, look, he's yawning. He's yawning. We'll get him on TV. He's yawning.
How can he be your grandson if he's tired?
Well, he's just turned 7. You know, here it's kind of late.
Singler, no. Reed.
Trailer.
And Reed with some big-time offensive production. You said it, he's kind of a glue guy. Any offense from him is a bonus.
He really does. I just noticed my grandson wearing a Duke shirt. He's smart. When he goes to Carolina, he wears Carolina shirt.
Hand off to Smith. Plenty of time to shoot for the Blue Devils.
Triple threat position. You watch your Duke players catch the ball, face the goal. You can pass, you can shoot, or you can drive. And use the high screen.
Shire calling for the screen. Got the switch. Shot clock down to 3. Smith. And the rebound to Reed. Good minutes for Ryan Reed.
He really has played well in the last 5 minutes. Exceptionally well.
And Gibson again. Let's go down to Heather Cox.
Well, this afternoon I talked to the Florida State coaches, and they said this is not the Duke lineup they wanted to see. With Kyle Singler at the 4, it's a much smaller lineup. They'd actually prefer that, and they feel like they have more success when Singler's at the 3 and Duke plays bigger. They feel like they match up a lot better. Interesting to see the timeout. We'll see how they match up out of the break.
You're exactly right, Heather. It gets down to matchups. They feel they match up on the baseline a lot better than chasing people all around the floor, because with Singler, you have to chase them all over the place.
ESPN brings you a college basketball doubleheader this Saturday. Men's college basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy beginning at noon Eastern. Louisville against West Virginia. It's always Rocket in Morgantown, and then at 2 Eastern. Interesting battle out of the Big 12. Oklahoma State takes on Missouri.
Can't wait till you and I, when we do the game, Pittsburgh and West Virginia, and then follow it up with Kentucky and Tennessee. That's a pretty good back-to-back.
We got a good, and 2 days before the Pitt West Virginia, we got Carolina Duke. It's not a bad week.
Not a bad week.
I like hanging around with you. 2-point game. How about the Seminoles with contributions from the likes of Reed and Gibson? Not their big-time scorers, but this is a very balanced team. As you said, they don't have a Tony Douglas this year. They can get an offense from a lot of different places.
Well, they have to get a lot of different places because they don't have that one guy that you can count on to get you 20 every night, even though I think Singleton has that great potential.
Oliby's their leading scorer at 12.6. Duke has 3 guys over 15 a game.
Well, they got the big three S's. Super sensational. Smith, Singler, and Shire.
Shire not this time. The Duke trio, the second highest scoring trio in the country, behind only a trio at Notre Dame, led of course by Luke Herringbone.
Notre Dame got beat today by Villanova. Yeah. What a team. Villanova and Syracuse. That's going to be one heck of a matchup. I'm going to be at the eat my heart out, and I'd rather be with you. That's going to be a great game, and I'll be at ESPN weekend having a lot of fun with their beautiful people.
We'll be able to carry your dome February 27th, and with the Kentucky loss, depending on what happens over the rest of the week, Villanova, Syracuse could be number 2 and number 3 behind only Kansas next week.
Man, you know, we'll have a great time ESPN weekend, and we'll put on the tube and watch you guys.
All right. Backdoor cut, Shire. Thomas couldn't get him. Now Shire steps out to the corner, knocks down another 3.
Hey, man, you can't leave him open. I'm sure Leonard Hamilton and his staff has went over that. His mom and dad really love it. That's our guy. Out of Illinois, played for Bruce Weber's brother. Terrific Mr. Basketball in Illinois.
All-time leading scorer in Illinois high school history. What a game he had against Iowa State back up in Chicago earlier this season.
Came from the same high school as Chris Collins.
Oliby called for the foul, getting physical with Miles Plumlee. Under 4 to go.
I'll tell you one thing.
In the first half.
It will drive your coach crazy when you go over the scouting report and you say, don't let Shire shoot, and he's wide open.
A look at the ACC when we come back.
This is 9 generations of the world's most revered luxury sedan.
History first had to get by Notre Dame. Wild one in the SEC. Vandy looking to go unbeaten in the SEC. They had to get by the Vols on their home court. And how about Texas looking to snap a 2-game losing streak after being number 1? It's all coming up on the UPS Halftime Report. Dan and Dick, we'll see you then.
Right around, thank you. Here a close one in the ACC. No surprise, they all seem to be close. This league is so wide open, as we discussed with Leonard Hamilton.
Well, now the league is much more competitive from top to bottom. And I think that's positive because the traditional, consistent, successful teams, Maryland included, have been so good that they've reached down and pulled the other programs up. Where now you never know what's going to happen from game in and game out.
Right now, Maryland leads the ACC. Virginia is in second place right now.
Take a lot of balance and watch the interior pass, score around the baseline. Nobody rotated over. Thomas gets the layup. Vasquez playing really well. So is Milburn for Gary Williams in Maryland. Virginia hasn't hit the heavyweight teams yet. See, so much really is determined by who you match up with.
Nice steal by Thomas defending Gibson.
And the one thing about the ACC, they have balance, but they do not have the kind of heavyweights like they've had in the past, like certainly North Carolina last year.
But there were a couple of years where they had a couple of heavyweights, but might have only gotten 3 or 4 bids into the NCAA tournament. Maybe not the number of heavyweights as they've had in the past, but how many bids do you think this league could expect to get?
Well, they're going to get more bids because there's so much more versatility and balance.
Smith from 15, little bit strong as it rolls off the rim, and back come the Seminoles.
Coach K was talking about bids. I said, don't be worried. I have a feeling you're going to get a bid.
Lance Thomas recovering for the block. Here are the ACC standings, the in-conference standings. Only 3 ranked teams in the ACC. Look, the top 2 teams aren't ranked. It's early yet, and things are going to change.
Okay, here we go. You want to? I wish they should keep that up a little longer. We got to watch
coming back to it. They're
going to come back. I'm going to tell you who's going to get in the tournament right now. I'm tuning up the VBDI. The Vital Ball Dome Index is warming up. Backdoor cut. Notice how they catch and face. Catch and face.
Shire, a big first half with 13 points already.
See that catch face?
Singler.
Should have shot the ball. Shire had a wide open shot.
Plumlee. Now Shire's got a wide open shot. Another rebound. Third opportunity. Singler, and he's fouled.
Nice backdoor cut.
All right, so let's roll the VBDI.
Maryland in. Duke in. Wake Forest in. Florida State in. Georgia Tech in. Question yet Virginia Tech. Question Clemson. A question right there. And you know who else is going to get in? North Carolina is going to get in.
So you got 6 ins and a couple of question marks.
A couple of question marks. They got to go out and do some winning. North Carolina is going to start winning.
You know what, a game like there's going to be this weekend. Duke is at Georgetown this weekend, a big time out of conference matchup here in late January. And that's if Duke can win that game, that's a signature win. Everybody's RPI gets better in the league. Kind of pull up the whole league a little bit.
You know what's really interesting? Georgetown jumped out against Syracuse, 14-zip, 2-touchdown lead, and they got blown out in the second half. Syracuse right now leads the nation field goal percentage. They lead the nation also in assists, 20 assists a game, and are like 4th in the nation in steals, because I don't think enough clubs play the 2-3 matchup. I think you'll utilize that a lot better, and that's a big advantage for them.
Snare, offensive foul.
Out of control.
Winter X Games begin on ESPN and ESPN2 tomorrow. Coverage starts at noon Eastern on ESPN2 with men's skiing slopestyle and snowmobile freestyle eliminations. Then at 9 on ESPN, Shaun White starts the snowboard superpipe eliminations. Winter X Games, 14 on ESPN. Dick, you can expect some turbulence.
I'll tell you one thing. These are 2 big possessions you're going to see here in the last minute. Florida State's got to really contain them. They can't allow them to score. You want to go in with a little confidence at halftime.
Tough pass. Good anticipation there by Laux.
Not a good pass at all. Really bad play right there.
Singleton puts it on the floor, and he'll be shooting a couple.
You know, I think it's such a great advantage. You look at Mike Krzyzewski, when you have a team that shoots the free throws so well. Coming into this game, Duke is number 2 in the nation behind BYU. David Rose, who, by the way, is a cancer survivor. They're 20-1. They played New Mexico and Steve Walford's club tonight. What an advantage that is, Dan. When you come down a stretch of a game and you got kids like Shire and Smith that can make free throws, that's a major plus.
Ted Valentine and Mike Wood over to the scores table to try to clear something up. I think the last Florida State foul was given to the wrong player, so I think they're clearing up that situation.
Teddy Valentine, a little smile on his face.
We talked about free throws. Florida State is a team that is getting better and better from the line, although this guy, Singleton, for all of his abilities, he shoots only 50% from the line. And with his skill set and athleticism, he's a guy who should get to the line a lot.
Get to the line a lot, and also should be a better free throw shooter. He's got a pretty good stroke when you watch him in the warm-up.
He shoots some threes. I mean, he knocks down threes, but he's only 50% from the line. Not the easiest environment in which to shoot here at Cameron.
You know, so many games, you talk about all the strategy in the world, and it comes down to being able to stroke that open 15-footer.
Duke has led just about the entire game so far. John Shire's had the big night with 13 first-half points. Singler for three. Got it.
Played a three-point shot. Talked about it on top of the show as a key. It's certainly been vital tonight.
5 threes in the first half for Duke, and this is their largest lead of the game.
Florida State allows 7 per game.
Look at how far out Duke's making Florida State initiate their offense. Step back three, kind of a fadeaway three by Laux.
That was a bad shot.
Yeah, Gibson. Whoa.
That was a great shot.
That was
a great shot.
Singleton.
That was a great shot. You can see why he was a McDonald's All-American. He wasn't a Wendy's All-American. He was McDonald's, baby.
Boy, 6'9" with some hops, and they'd love to see him go to the glass more. The shot clock turned off. Duke can hold for the last shot.
This game's had a tempo to it that really, when you think about the tempo of the game, I think this is the tempo that Florida State likes, basically. And they like the scoreboard, but the kind of tempo.
And a bump before the shot. Three on Xavier Gibson. How about this dunk by Singleton, Dick?
Take a look at Singleton up and away. There he is, the high riser, the jam.
10th team foul on Florida State. So to the line for 2 is Nolan Smith.
Florida State's 1-16 lifetime at Cameron Indoor. The only time they won, it was back in 2007. 1 by 1, Al Thornton had 21 points, Tony Douglas 15.
Played him to a virtual standstill here on senior night last year, losing 84-81.
Their losses this year, Florida beat them by 16, Ohio State the Buckeyes by 13, Maryland by 9, and North Carolina State by 7.
3 seconds.
Sidney Lowe's club put 88 points on the board to beat both these clubs.
Laux misses on the 3 at the end of the half, and Duke, unbeaten at home this year, up by 10 at the break. It's the guards, led by John Shire, who have done the bulk of the scoring for the Blue Devils in the first 20 minutes. Heather Cox is with Florida State coach Leonard Hamilton.
Dan, thanks so much, Coach. Before the game, you told me that this team needs mental, emotional, and physical strength to win here in Cameron. Have you seen that type of strength so far?
I think we've been rattled. We turned the ball over unnecessarily. We dribbled to the baseline, picked it up. We're playing like an inexperienced team. Duke is really executing like a very mature team. We just kind of got to grow up at halftime here. We turned the ball over about 12 or 13 times. We haven't given ourselves a chance. So we're lucky for the score to only be down 10 now.
Coach, midway through the first half, Duke went to a smaller lineup that was successful for them. If they stick with it, how do you better match up with them in the second half?
I'm not really sure it made that big a difference. They got good players shooting jump shots all over the place. I'm not really sure it's the lineup on the floor right now. We kind of self-destructive.
Coach, we'll let you get to your team. Thank you. Dan?
All right, Heather, thank you. So Coach Hamilton says they've got some growing up to do at halftime if they're going to make up this 10-point deficit. Time now for the UPS halftime report. Let's go back to the studio. Here's Ryan Burr.
Thanks so much, Dan. 10-point game at the half. Welcome in.
Batman goes this way and that way, but nowhere in effect.
With their defense, saying it's misleading to see that Florida State shooting 52% because the majority of those are transition buckets. The telling stat, they forced 14 turnovers, and Florida State only put up 25 shots in that first half.
All right, Heather, thank you. Into the second half, Miles Plumlee, no. And the The rebound comes down to Durham to Kitchen, the point guard, who with all the turnover trouble that Florida State had in the first half, Kitchen had 5 assists and didn't turn the ball over once. Wilkie's a very quiet first half for a guy they expect to knock down some shots. Only played 7 minutes, only took 1 shot.
Made locks a lot more. He didn't get open looks when he was on the floor, Dookies.
Nice look. Singleton for 3. Good start in the second half for Florida State.
He's got to elevate his game. He's got to really step up and give him a spark. You know, you and I have talked about so many times the first 4 minutes after half is vital. Really applies to Florida State. They can't afford to have Duke go on a spurt here early and put this one away early in the second half.
They don't have a guy who can single-handedly bring him back into a game like Tony Douglas could a year ago. Looks like Plumlee couldn't decide whether he could touch that ball or not. Was it over the cylinder? And they end up not converting. And a quick 3 by Singleton. He hit one, so he tried another, and that one wouldn't go. Nolan Smith lost it.
One of the few turnovers for Duke. Only had 4.5. Good look inside.
In and out. Great rebound by Singleton. He's got it knocked out of bounds, but Singleton's the most active guy on the floor so far here early in the second half. Solomon Alabi with 9 points, 5 rebounds in the first half of Florida State. John Shire knocked down 3 big threes. He and Nolan Smith combined for 22 first half points.
They're really covering Dookies. Every time he gets the ball on the outside, they're right in his face.
Well, Alabi had a gimme and missed it on a switch. I think he had Smith on him, if I'm not mistaken. Instead of going up and dunking that ball, he tried to lay it up and in.
That's just inexperience. He's
Miles Plumlee is bleeding. So Zubek will check in, and they'll tend to Plumlee. Let's see if we can spot it.
See right now, look at that challenge him right in the face. Now look at this wide open. He didn't realize he was that wide open. One bounce, he should have jammed that baby.
And it looked like an inadvertent elbow from Alabi when he went up for that rebound that caught Plumlee. And those are the kind of things that Alabi will continue to learn, as you mentioned.
He will.
An inexperienced player. Didn't start playing basketball until he was 15 years old, but he kind of assumed somebody was there. Instead of going up and dunking the ball, tried to jump hook. Grew up in Nigeria, played a lot of soccer. Sounds like Akeem Olajuwon a little bit. And he says, I'll just try to go out there and block everything that I can, and he does average 2.5 blocks per game.
I'll tell you one thing, be half of Akeem and you'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
I think this kid is going to be a special player. You give him a little bit more experience, a little more time. He's very coachable, great attitude, loved by all the guys on the team.
Yep. And I know what you're going to say as I ask you this next question, and I'll agree with you 100%. He's only a sophomore. He's only been playing basketball 5 years. He's already on the NBA radar. On our own website, on ESPN.com, he's projected as a lottery pick. Right now, they don't know if he's going to stay or going to go, but he's improving so much. One more year could do wonders for him.
Absolutely. He'll be drafted on potential, obviously. Great deal of potential, but he needs more game experience and time right now.
Good free throw shooter. The foul was on Shire, his second.
You know, you think about guys, I think about NBA greats who really put in their time in college and became great players because they were a little bit late bloomers. You think about Tim Duncan, you think about certainly Olajuwon, and what about David Robinson out of the Naval Academy?
Big guys take longer to develop, and if they leave too early, sometimes they never get where they want to get.
Well, the 3 guys I mentioned didn't come in as McDonald's All-Americans.
Yes.
I don't even think they were Wendy's All-Americans. I mean, I'm not knocking Wendy's. Wendy's pretty good.
Singler. Florida State with the ball. They've scored the first 4 points of the second half, getting back into the game.
Duke really lives off the big 3. They are so important to them in their point production. They really are about 65% of all their points.
Singleton with Shire on him right now. Screen by Reed.
Duke has really played consistently good defense all year, other than basically that game against North Carolina State.
Gave up 88 points in that game. Off balance, Singleton in and out. Back comes Duke.
Even in losses to Georgia Tech and Wisconsin, it wasn't their defense that broke down. That's a double high post screens.
Singleton. Boy, he stopped out on a dime right there to create that open shot.
Well, he created space for himself off the bounce, off the floor, but it started by the triple threat position.
And Zubek's going to be called for the foul. His third. Let's get an update on Miles Plumlee as we send it down to Heather.
Well, you saw Miles take an elbow to the forehead. The athletic training staff is cleaning the cut and putting steri strips across the wound. The trouble, they can't get it to stop bleeding. Once they contain the bleeding, he is expected to return.
It looks like they're tending to like a boxer in the corner of the ring, Dick, and they need their big guys in this game because Florida State, led by Olive, they got so many big guys.
Yeah, but they can't turn the ball over. There's a really simple turnover right there by Florida State. Leonard Hamilton got to be upset about that. Hey, Leonard is one of 9 former NBA coaches, now currently serving as a Division I head coach. I think Calipari, Patino, Cougar of UNLV, Montgomery, Sidney Lowe, Isaiah Thomas, Kevin O'Neal.
By Zubek. Smith on a switch. He's the open man Shire.
He's a big space heater. Created off the screen, reversed it to Shire, and he can finish the play.
John Shire came into the game tonight shooting only 27% on threes in conference games. He's got 4 tonight, and Zubek just took a charge.
Les Jones with the call. I think Zubek gave him a great screen. Now he gives him a defensive charge. Another turnover. Did a great job stepping on that baseline. The big fella. Wide body, he's got that wide body. There he is right there, taking the baseline away. So no. And look at Les Jones, says, I got a charge.
Winter X Games 14 starts tomorrow at 9 Eastern on ESPN.
Amy.
Not too heavy, not too light. Bud Light. The difference is drinkability.
Well, you're awfully quiet this evening.
Hey, heads up. Did you know we are down to the final days of choosing who we want to see in the 2010 Pro Football Hall of Fame? Well, Van Heusen and J.C. Penney have given us the power to vote and be heard at fanschoice.com. It's now or never, guys. Vote now.
Enjoy a complete seafood dinner for 2 for just $29.99 at Red Lobster. With fresh salads and biscuits. Your choice of entrees.
ESPNU, Texas looking to avoid a 3rd consecutive loss. They're playing at home against Texas Tech. And the Longhorns are struggling. Brad Reese, the bucket. They're tied at 58. Once again, that game available on ESPNU. Big Ten basketball, Ohio State has now surged into the lead against Iowa. 38 seconds to go there. BYU, 10 in America, down 6 to New Mexico. Guys?
All right, Ryan, thank you. Back here at Cameron Indoor Stadium, Dan Schulman, Dick Vitale, Heather Cox. Wednesday night hoops. It is 44-33 Duke leading Florida State. Lance Thomas was just called for a moving screen. Duke has won every single game they played at home this year. They've won them, Dick, by an average of 30 points. And in their 3 conference wins here, they've won those by an average of 20 points. But Olive from Kitchen, another assist for Kitchen, and Florida State gets it back down to 9.
They should take advantage of Olive's ability around the basket, get him a ball a little bit more. Get the ball inside to him.
Zubek's playing with 3 fouls, and Miles Plumlee, you saw him bleeding a little bit earlier. He's gone off to the locker room, so maybe they're going to have to stitch it up. They couldn't get the bleeding to stop. Singler inside.
Nice move by Singler to get free, creating space for himself. Ability to put the ball on the floor for a big fella. He's got good perimeter skills.
Singler now with a dozen. Big wow.
What a screen.
Wow. Never saw Reed coming.
You got to communicate. Your teammates got to let you know it's coming.
Offensive foul on Singleton of Florida State. Singler got rocked right there by Reed. Duke up by 11. Live around the country, and we'll hear from a young lady by the name of Maddie Burke, a junior public policy major. There she is. She'll give us a little peek at campus life here at Duke a little bit later on in this game.
I'll guarantee you she had about 1550 on the SATs. It's only about 1,000 1,000 more points than I have.
11-point lead for the Blue Devils. Shire turns it over. Here comes Singleton. And a good decision there by Singleton.
See, the one thing they can't seem to get, the Lee's easy layup in transition off a steal.
Nice crossover by
Nice
Louts. No look pass Reed. A lot of traffic. Singleton. Singleton again. Fresh 35. Louts. In and out on the three. Another offensive rebound by Singleton.
Hey, Florida State really out-hustling Duke on the offensive boards, really getting after the ball. Singleton really active, showing that versatility. Mike Krzyzewski not happy with that effort. Rebound is going to make a change.
Dick, Florida State is now out-rebounding Duke 26-14. Singleton's got 7 of them.
Well, there's Singleton really working on. And the funny part about it, Duke's been a pretty good rebounding team all year.
So now Zubek's got 4 fouls. He's going to come out. Miles Plumlee was bleeding, was taken to the locker room as they try to slow the bleeding down. Maybe they've got to stitch him up. So freshman Mason Plumlee has to come in now and play the post.
But you got to convert on the free throw line. Singleton struggled all year on the line. Missed the first one here.
He's 50% on the season. Boy, Florida State has had a lot of shots, free throws and field goals. Bounce off the rim, around and out. A lot of shots that looked like they were going down that didn't.
You know, you're down 11. You can't afford to go empty on a free throw line. Just a high screen.
Shire's got 4 threes tonight. Singler's got a better look. Shire will take the assist.
I'll tell you, Shire with the great vision finds his teammate. One S to another S. Super scintillating.
Going to be a Duke foul on Mason Plumlee. One more look at Shire and Singler at the other end.
Great look here, right here. Now he's going to go right diagonal with the ball. And there is Singler squaring his. I mean, he's sitting there on the three-point line. Talked about it early. Three-point shot would be vital to Duke. And it has come up big here tonight.
Shire with 16 points and 3 assists. And Singler up to 15 points now on the night. Another missed opportunity as Reed tried to find Olive. He couldn't handle the pass, and now Miles Plumlee is back on the bench and going to be coming back into the game.
They look like Angelo Dundee in that corner. Dundee working on him.
Nope. Not quite coming back into the game, just getting ready to do so as he sits back down on the bench. And Singler, great shot fake, got Louts in the air, and it's going to be 3 free throws coming for Singler.
I think they do a great job at catching the ball and facing the basket. They do a terrific job getting at the triple threat position. You can see it's fundamental. You can see they teach. Hey, what about Mike Krzyzewski today when we talked to him? Sing the praises of Chris Collins and Mr. Wojciechowski. I mean, did he sing their praises about how they're ready to be head coaches, do an outstanding job?
Nate James on the staff, Chris Carrawell, part of the Duke, all former Duke players too. One thing that has been a common thread with this program for many, many years. And there's the brain trust right there for the Blue Devils.
I'll tell you one thing, Leonard Hamilton's got to go in, and Corey Williams. Remember when he played at Oklahoma State, played in the NBA, played with Michael Jordan.
Got a ring.
He got a ring, championship ring.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow. So now of the 51 points that Duke has, the 3 S's, Shire, Singler, Smith, have 42 of those points and counting. Right. They average 53 a game. Only the trio of Herringody, Abramitis, and Hansbrough at Notre Dame, Ben Hansbrough, average 4 points per game than these 3 guys.
Well, you know, not shocked. When you look at the minutes, I mean, Singler the last 2 games played all 40 minutes. Shire plays at least 36 minutes a game. And plus, they're the most productive guys, going to get most of the shots.
Smith was looking for the foul there as he just threw up an off-balance shot. Back come the Seminoles. That's a foul. And Les Jones on the call. He's going to count that basket for Michael Snare, the freshman out of Moreno Valley, California.
I thought that only happens in the NBA. I thought that happens in the NBA. Come on, Dan, you're an NBA guy.
Little continuation right there, but Leonard Hamilton will take it.
So will Michael Snare take it. He's going to be a real good one.
8 points per game. Great athlete. Was the high school player of the year in California a year ago as he completes the 3-point play.
You know, Florida State came in this league along with Miami, Virginia Tech. They were really brought into the league because of their football prowess. But I'm going to tell you, these clubs have been very competitive in basketball as well.
Florida State made the NCAA tournament a year ago. A couple times recently they've been right on the cusp, but they didn't get in. Went to the NIT. Mason Plumlee blocked by Olive.
I think what hurt him was their pre-conference schedule. Those years they were left out.
Snare, and Plumlee hustling back, knocks it out of bounds. Well, you'll see some of the top teams in the country. Men's college basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy on Saturday. Vandy and #1 Kentucky. Of course, lost to South Carolina last night. That's at 4 Eastern, 7 Eastern, Saturday primetime, presented by DirecTV. What a scene it's going to be in Manhattan, Kansas, when the Jayhawks come to town to take on K-State.
Have you ever been down there?
Yes, 7, 8 years ago, a long time ago.
I don't remember ever doing a game there. I was there for a speaking engagement, but I don't remember ever doing a game. I can't wait to go there.
Snare. Wow. There have been 5 or 6 shots that look like locks to go in for the Seminoles, and they just haven't.
Well, that certainly was a lock right there. Except it came up empty. It was a Yale lock. They locked it.
And they're down 13.
As Duke set up those big screens. Do a good job reversing the ball. He can shoot it.
Dawkins has it blocked, and now a run out. It will be Snare laying it in. Another assist for Kitchen.
That's one of the few runouts they've had. Transition layups.
7 assists now for Durham and Kitchen. 11-point lead Duke.
See, there's that fake. They do a great job catching and faking.
Dawkins, not this time, hit a 3 in the first half. Singler wide open. And Florida State's got it. Looking to run again. Louts into the chest of Singler. Couldn't finish. No call. Thomas, a strong rebound for the Blue Devils.
That's Thomas, one of those guys, worked so hard. He's a scrapper.
He was terrific Saturday at Clemson. 13.7 rebounds.
Very active.
Mason Plumlee tries a 3. Baseline jumper, Olive, no.
So they'll allow Olive to shoot that shot. They don't want to see him around the basket where he can dunk on the interior. Cameron Tracy's like the effort so far. They're applauding, very jubilant.
And Mike Krzyzewski will call a timeout. You can see how fired up he is about tonight's game, and you know how fired up Duke students get about coming to Duke games, especially the big one against Carolina. They get out.
With ESPN's Campus Connection, I'm Maddie Burke here in Krzyzewskiville, where college basketball's craziest fans just got a little crazier. This year, the Cameron Crazies will spend a week living outdoors under tarps before they even move into their tents on Saturday.
So we have to have 12 people in the tarp every night and at least 2 people during the day.
And the basketball players were nice enough to help us with the finishing touches by signing it. It's kind of an only the strong survive type deal.
It's fun, but my mom will definitely kill me if she finds out I'm doing this. Hi, Mom!
Wow.
So they're out there, Dick. Those tarps and sleeping bags, they weren't to get into tonight's game. They're to get into the game against North Carolina, which is on March the 6th. And students take turns sleeping under the tarps, holding their place in line for the next 5-6 weeks.
Hey, are you and I going to get here? We're going to get some. We have to stay in a tent, a tarp.
I think you can pull some strings for us.
I got a feeling we're going to be here. Hey, Maddie, I'll tell you this. She's got some great potential. Forget about her major broadcasting. She really handled the microphone well. She's going to send that resume right now to ESPN.
Singleton, a nice pass inside, and Snare with 2 more.
Great two-man game right there. Those 2 guys, McDonald's All-Americans, both of them, really do a superb job looking for one another.
Florida State makes a little run, and then Duke gets it back out to double figures again. That's been the story here in the second half.
I'll tell you one thing, Snare plays the ball really tough defensively as well.
And he draws Shire right now.
See, the one great thing Duke does, Dan, watch the spacing on the floor. They'll be the screen, and then they space out.
Wow, Singleton with a block. 7 to shoot, Shire on the wing.
Singleton, an outstanding shot blocker, 5th in the conference. Leads the conference in steals.
And it'll be Florida State ball after the shot clock violation. A lot of length, a lot of shot blocking ability for Florida State. Can they do it at the other end, though, to get back into this game?
This little piggy can carry 1,470 pounds of straw. This little piggy can carry 1,575 pounds of twigs. And then along came the big bad wolf. 1,873 pounds of payload, our most powerful half-ton V8 ever. Never sent a truck to do a Sierra's job. The 2010 GMC Sierra crew. May the best truck win.
For the first time, on the Sunday before the Super Bowl, 86 NFL All-Stars on one stage. The 2010 Pro Bowl, Sunday at 7:20 on ESPN.
Coming up on SportsCenter, Gilbert Arenas learns his fate from Commissioner Stern. 4 of the NBA's top 5 scores all in action. Plus, our experts have their own State of the Sports Union addresses. SportsCenter, after the Knowles and Devils on ESPN.
McKenna, huh? You hear about that bag of swag? Sorry, John, what's the jacket naughty? 1 million spondulix. A fine load of dosh, I tell you. And here are we sitting in spuds. Let's put a hat in it and call it a Randall, huh? Ah, shapers.
The St. Patrick's Day raffle is here. Lottery games are based on chance and should be played for entertainment only, not investment purposes.
Why buy a Hyundai over Honda and Toyota? Better warranty, better product, better gas mileage, and they cost thousands less. This isn't me talking. This is what the experts say.
Compare and buy the new Sonata for just $14,995. Or choose this Hyundai Santa Fe for just $29,995. And you'll get America's best warranty with Hyundai Assurance.
It's a simple choice. Why pay more and get less? Shop online at hillsborohyundai.com.
Welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke up by 9, and moments ago, Miles Plumlee took an inadvertent elbow from Florida State's Solomon Olaby. He went back to the locker room where he received 5 staples, guys, not for the faint of heart. They needed to find a way to get the bleeding to stop. It didn't work with the steri strips, so they put 5 staples in, and now Miles Plumlee has returned to action.
And right back into the game again with Olaby and others. Gibson, all the signs that Florida State has. Mike Krzyzewski needs his big bodies out there, and Plumlee's back into the game.
Well, he gives him really size. Talk about toughness. 5 staples coming back on the floor.
Remember, Zubek's got 4 fouls, so they need some minutes right now. It will go for Singleton, who has been terrific here in the second half.
Tell you one thing, he really is versatility.
Yeah.
That was a terrific play right there. Hanging in the air, shooting that jumper. Floating shot really in the lane.
A 9-2 run right now, Dick, for Florida State.
They're going to lock it up defensively right now.
Singleton knocks it away. The Seminoles have it again, and they've got numbers as well. Great pass. And what a finish by Snare.
Tell you one thing, Snare, you can see why he was so highly recruited. Showing that athleticism, explosiveness. Got a real spark here. Leonard Hubbard's got to be happy with this effort.
Yeah, he talked to Heather about how young they are. A lot of sophomores, some freshmen as well. They've got some talent. They can keep this group together for a year or two. They're going to be special.
Tell you what, he's a good-looking diaper dandy.
Shire the save, but into the hands of Gibson. And the Duke bench screaming for that elbow to be called. Inadvertent, but he did make contact with Thomas. Nice pass from Snare inside. Singleton draws the foul.
Tell you, the combination of Snare and Singleton really playing well together. Giving them a big lift. Take a look at Snare right now in transition. There's the great body control, hanging up in the air. And the conversion. Good catch. They protect the basketball, seals the defense off. He's a heck of a diaper dandy.
The foul was on Singler, his third. Singleton heads back to the line, whereas we've documented he struggles. He is just 1 for 4 tonight, 50% on the season. Boy, what an asset it would be for a guy with that athleticism to be able to knock down free throws better.
Tell you one thing, he does a lot of good things, though, when you think about blocking shots, steals.
Duke, meanwhile, Dick, has gone over 5 minutes since they made a basket.
Without a field goal.
Plumlee out, Zubek in with 4 fouls.
Got to credit to the defensive effort of Florida State. They just kept hanging in, playing on the defensive side. They're a good defensive basketball team. Teams shoot 35% against them.
Still loose, the Seminoles have it.
They're out hustling Duke. Out hustle them on the glass, and out hustle them to the ball.
Mike Krzyzewski says Leonard Hamilton's tough. His kids are tough. They're not going to be afraid of playing in this kind of an environment, and they have shown that here in the second half, Dick.
There it is on the interior. There's the lob up on top to Olaby. There's the drive by Singleton. We're going to watch the dump down inside. I tell you, Singleton and Snare together. There's Mr. Snare. And Diamond Dandy responding.
Well, look at how crazy the ACC has been this year. I think more so than any of the other Big Six conferences. Dick, don't you think that you never know from night to night? The rankings don't mean anything sometimes. I don't know how many of these are even call upsets. You just don't know what's going to happen in this league this year.
I think it's unpredictability. I think it's the balance throughout the league. The lack of a dominating heavyweight has made it really interesting. The tournament's going to be exciting.
Oh, boy.
I mean, it's going to be tough to project that.
Out in Greensboro. Talk about Gary Williams and the Terps off to a 4-1 start in the league.
Well, Vasquez and Milburn playing really well. Gary's a guy that teams are going to get better and better. He's a teacher, a motivator. He never really gets to a point where he doesn't believe. He has such a positive attitude, and he believes in his kids.
12-2 run. Seminoles back within 4 with the ball. And a ton of time to go here at Duke.
They're not even going back to
Tallahassee.
Yep. No, they're going to Boston.
Yep, flying up to Boston tomorrow. They play BC on Saturday and got a push on Thomas. Duke's already over the limit. Number 3 on Thomas. Florida State shooting free throws the rest of the way. 1-1 coming.
Got to make their free throws. You look at the Duke brain trust on that sideline. The one thing about Duke, when it gets a little closer within that 4-minute mark, they are one of the premier shooting free throw teams in the nation. Number 2, behind BYU, who's number 1.
Singleton back to the line where he's 2 of 6.
Yeah, 2 of 6 is not going to get done. Not in a close game. He's going to convert because he's going to go to the line often.
Offensive rebound and another foul. This time it is Shire, I believe.
Singleton really not happy with himself right there, showing some emotion.
At 2 of 7.
He's disappointed.
Yeah.
The kid's a competitor, a winner. Not happy at all.
The foul might have been on, they call that on Singler or Shire? They called it on Singler, not Shire. They called it on Singler, and that is his 4th. Another missed free throw.
And another rebound.
And
just out hustling Duke on the glass.
Wow. But leaving so many points. Just missing so many opportunities the last few minutes.
Coach K certainly can't be happy with their effort on the glass.
Yeah.
Wow. They escaped one right there, Duke.
So Coach K can't be happy with Duke's effort on the glass, and Coach Hamilton can't be happy with Florida State's work on the free throw line.
Free throw line is an Achilles heel for them right now tonight. Look at Leonard, coaching the NBA a while, did an outstanding job in Miami. Look at the offensive rebound totals. Wow. 2-1.
And not turning enough of them into points.
Nolan's been quiet. Smith's been quiet.
Good defense by Snare to cut him off. Shire, tough pull-up. Wow.
Shire made the big play. He's a big playmaker. Snare matched up on Nolan Smith, doing a good job on him defensively. I like Snare's all-around game.
Louch turns the corner. Tried to float it up there for Gibson. And the ball was in the cylinder. Mike Wood says basket interference on Gibson. It'll be Duke's ball.
Should have got the ball up a little bit higher right there, Louch. Should have got the ball up higher.
Well, check it out yourself. Going to break.
Oh, that's interference. That's interference. Look at that. I can even see that. That's interference.
It guides. It shows. It slides. It tows. It sees. It calls. And it fits. We gave it more ideas per square inch because more is what we do. Introducing the Terrain, the all-new smaller SUV from GMC.
What's the Carrabba's difference? Maybe it's the way we hand prepare each meal. Like our new seafood cannelloni, just made pasta stuffed with lobster, shrimp, and sea scallops. Or maybe it's the incredible value on every plate, like our new sirloin and spadino. A center-cut sirloin paired with wood-grilled shrimp and scallops in our homemade lemon butter sauce. Come in tonight and experience the Carrabba's difference. It's the difference between so-so and so good.
Hey, Brett. Did you make a decision?
I might say yes.
All right. Let's get this going. You gonna pull the trigger on this?
Well, I used to like green.
What if it were purple? With yellow detail, little white horns, Nordic theme?
I'll take it.
We get you, we've got your TV. Get an extra 8% instant savings or 18 months no interest on total electronics purchases over $999. And get a free Samsung Blu-ray player with select Samsung TVs. Sears, life well spent.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun.
Brian Burr in studio. Told you Texas was in a fight with Texas Tech at home. Longhorns have opened things up. Dexter Pittman inside. Nice feed inside of Damian James for a two-hand flush. And the Longhorns have taken control up 11. This game on ESPNU. And just a reminder, big schedule of ESPNU games coming up tomorrow, including St. John's at Pittsburgh, guys.
All right, Ryan, thank you. Time now to get to know John Shire, presented by Sun Life. Shire, the senior out of Northbrook, Illinois, second in the ACC in scoring, has really raised his play. Say about a month ago, Dick, he was playing as well as anybody in the country. Now teams have focused on him a little bit more. It's gotten tougher in the conference, but he has still had a terrific season.
Absolutely. I think when you talk about the All-American teams, his name's going to be right up there. Mom and Dad certainly proud. Jim and Lori come to a number of the games.
Well, Dad is at every game, I think, even the road games, as he follows his son around. And Shire, of course, becoming more of a point guard midway through last year, was leading the country in assist-to-turnover ratio for about 6-7 weeks.
Now down about fourth in the nation, first in the ACC.
Dick, we're over 12 minutes into the second half, and only 2 Blue Devils have scored. Shire and Singler have all the points that Duke has here in the second half.
Really surprised that Nolan Smith's really been quiet, but I think Snare's done a great job on it.
Right.
He's had a switch. They do a lot of switching defensively against those screens.
Yeah, Snare bigger than Smith and more athletic. You can hear them counting down the shot clock. It's got to be Shire.
Tell you one thing, they know how to utilize the screen. Got to call a jump ball there now.
Yeah. And now the dispute was what happened first, the call of the held ball or the shot clock violation, because Florida State doesn't want to lose the arrow for the next time. They just want that to be a shot clock violation and not have the arrow switch.
Well, being up here, we can't tell.
Yes. And we also, this is one of the few places we can't even see the arrow.
Right. Right.
Well, what happened first, the whistle or the shot clock violation? Boy, that's right about the same time.
Simultaneous. I thought it was the shot clock.
So the call is a held ball.
Okay,
Florida
held
State
ball.
gets it on the arrow, but that means the next time Duke's going to get it.
Get rid of that rule. Get rid of that rule. Please, please.
Sorry.
Time,
Didn't mean to upset you there, Dick.
Hey, there's Duke now. Look at this change.
Little zone.
They're going to a zone.
Yeah.
They're going to go to a zone and make him shoot some perimeter shots.
Snare had it knocked away from behind, I think, by Smith.
Tell you, Zubik did a great job. Zubik did a great job rotating over in that zone.
Zubik has given them some big minutes tonight. Not putting up the numbers, but just doing the job defensively.
Be curious to see if Duke stays in that zone. If they do, patience is really going to be in order for Florida State.
Smith corrals the loose ball, in and out, followed by Zubik.
I tell you, Zubik, he won't be a star of stars, but he has contributed today, helping him to that 8-point lead with 6:25 on the clock.
And here in the second half, Olaby has been pretty quiet. Just 3 points in the second half after 9 in the first half.
See, he hasn't learned how to get free, man. He doesn't know how to get free yet on the interior. That'll happen for him. He's got to learn how to drop step, single reverse, flash to the ball.
A couple of minutes ago, Florida State was within 4 with the ball. Now with 6 minutes to go, Duke by 8.
And remember, if Duke gets you in this situation, they really go for the juggler, because if you foul, they're going to convert. That's why they're second in the nation.
Shire to Singler.
What a combination. What a combination. They look for each other. They're unselfish. They're all about winning. Consummate team players. There's that zone. Lance Thomas up on top of the zone. The big guy with the wingspan. That is a good move right here going to that zone.
Nice turnaround jumper by Olive.
He's going to be a big-time player. He's going to be a PT pair. You can't teach some of the things he has. Number one, you can't teach that size.
Meanwhile, back at this end, after that Singler three, the big three of Singler, Shire, and Smith now have 47 of the 58 points for Duke.
See, the one negative, though, for Florida State coming down the stretch, you say threes. The three-point shot has been really not existent for them. Even the last 4 games, it's been a struggle.
Lance Thomas with a putback.
Good effort by Thomas. Last 4 games, David. 6 for 18, 4 for 13, 4 for 17, and 4 for 19. Not a real good long-range shooting team.
Snare and tripped by Zubek, who has just fouled out of the game.
They got fouls to play with in that post. They should look at the big three right here.
Great years for John Shire. Nolan Smith has really come on, is scoring up 10 points per game from last season. His Singler's numbers a little bit down, playing with a bad wrist the last couple of weeks, as Heather talked about a little bit earlier. But still, look at what these 3 guys mean to this team.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt how vital they are. And they really, Mike Krzyzewski said, we haven't had a game yet, though. We're all 3 are on fire.
That's right. And 2 of the 3, Singler and Shire, have been on fire here tonight. Big minutes, meanwhile, for Brian Zubek, but he's upset as he fouls out. Miles Plumlee will take his place.
Hey, 2 out of 3, you're in the Hall of Fame with that, huh? I think you're in the Hall of Fame 1 out of 3.
Yep.
1 out of 3. Baseball.
Lead back to 11. Zubek fouls out tonight. 6 points, 3 rebounds, but the numbers don't really tell the story of some of the good things he did tonight.
You know, Mike Krzyzewski closing in on his mentor, Bobby Knight, with 902. Mike Krzyzewski right now is 54 wins shy from passing Bob Knight on the all-time list.
Meanwhile, Florida State, Dick, 5 for 13 from the free throw line, and several of the misses were on the front end of a 1-and-1, so they didn't even get a shot to take the second.
And that's big. Whenever you're on a roll, you got to convert on that free throw line, especially against a quality team like Duke. You know, I'm going to go on record right now. I think Mike Krzyzewski, without a doubt to me, is going to be the first guy in men's basketball to hit 1,000 wins. He'll join Pat Summitt.
Well, if he wins tonight, it would be 850, so another 150 wins. You're looking at another 5-6 years.
Yeah, he's got that in him. He's in great shape, works out, loves coaching, has great recruits coming in.
Very excited about Kyrie Irving, the point guard that you guys were discussing earlier tonight.
You know, he got beat in a big game, number 1 against number, I guess, about 6. Finley Prep beat him, led by a kid from Canada, Corey Joseph. Right. Terrific point guard.
Smith. Rebound Olive.
Didn't have the good angle.
4 minutes to go here at Cameron. A 10-point lead for Duke.
The guy we thought would shoot the 3 for them tonight's been non-existent.
Dookies,
yes.
has been a non-factor. And now a turnover and a layup for Nolan Smith.
That's big. That's big right there. Gives you a 12-point lead with less than 3.5 on the clock.
You mentioned Dulkes. He's taken only 1 shot tonight. He hasn't scored a point. Olive inside.
See, hesitated. He'll learn. That's all the stuff that's going to happen. That's why you're right, Coach Shulman. He needs another year of college.
I agree with you 100%.
I mean, he'll be drafted high, get a lot of cash, but he'll be sitting on a pine in the NBA.
Yeah. He'll be twice as good a year from now as he is right now.
See the struggles right now to beat Savin in the NBA?
He was picked 2nd overall. Duke going to use a little clock right now. Under 3 to go in the game. Single digits on the shot clock.
They excel at this time of the game. They really do.
And a shot clock violation. Timeout on the floor. Under 3 to go. 12-point lead for the Blue Devils.
With 417 foot-pounds of torque, 403 horsepower, and an automatic rear locking differential. The GMC Sierra can do jobs other trucks can't. Never send a truck to do a Sierra's job. The 2010 GMC Sierra. May the best truck win.
Looks like somebody just talked to State Farm. Start saving today with a free discount double check from America's #1 car insurance company. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
What's the deal with all these people rushing to work, drinking their mochachinos, cappuccinos, chocolatinos? Take a look at this. The Denny's Meat Lovers Trio. It's one of 3 new dishes for breakfast lovers being served for a limited time. I'd take one of these over a whatever chino any day.
Are you taking a statin medication to lower your bad cholesterol, but your good cholesterol and triglycerides are still out of line? Then you may not be seeing the whole picture. Ask your doctor about Trilipix. If you're at high risk of heart disease and taking a statin to lower bad cholesterol, along with diet, adding Trilipix can lower fatty triglycerides and raise good cholesterol to help improve all 3 cholesterol numbers. Trilipix has not been shown to prevent heart attacks or stroke more than a statin alone.
Trilipix is not for everyone, including people with liver, gallbladder, or severe kidney disease, or nursing women. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take and if you are pregnant or may become pregnant. Blood tests are needed before and during treatment to check for liver problems. Contact your doctor if you develop unexplained muscle pain or weakness, as this can be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. This risk may be increased when Trilipix is used with a statin.
If you cannot afford your medication, call 1-866-4-TRILIPIX for more information. Trilipix, there's more to cholesterol. Get the picture.
Welcome back to ESPNU Campus Connection Week. We're here at Duke. One of the many opportunities you have to play a little volleyball. Now, somebody on our crew is an academic All-American in volleyball. One of the 3 announcers on this show. Wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
You and I were neither academic nor volleyball players, right?
I know I wasn't academic, but also we got another All-American, Kim Belton, our producer.
That's right. Big-time rebounder
superstar.
at Stanford.
Yeah. He was recruited by everyone. I mean, Duke wanted him badly when they had Gene Banks, but you know what? He looked at Duke and said, I don't want to go here. I'm going to Stanford to get my 30 a game.
Hey, I don't want to put it all on Kim. He walks into the gym today. Leonard Hamilton looks at him right away and recognizes him. That's how good Kim Belton was back at Stanford.
He was special.
And a foul. Well, Florida State now has to foul. Hope they miss. Hope Duke misses at the free throw line, as you said. They can knock them down. ESPNU Campus Connection Week continues with men's college basketball Saturday, presented by 5 Hour Energy. Louisville against West Virginia. You want to see some energy? Check out the crowd in Morgantown. That game is at noon. And then Oklahoma State and Missouri at 2. You look at Deshaun Butler and Kevin Jones and Devin Eban. Well, Bob Huggins has some talent.
They really do. They got some talent, but so does Louisville. And both clubs so well coached. Rick Pitino and Bobby Huggins, 2 of the best.
Shire finds Plumlee.
Spread the court, force you to foul him. And you don't want to foul Shire.
90%.
He's automatic.
Yeah.
Spread the court. Smart. Good basketball IQ by Nolan Smith. Gives it over to Shire.
Floater, nope, pass inside, and Thomas is fouled. What a job by Duke. They run 29 seconds off the clock, get a good look, and Thomas will shoot free throws.
You know, last year they won 30 games, got beaten in the Sweet 16. It's been a 5-year period since they've been in the Final Four, and last time that happened was 81-85.
Sports Center is coming up next year on ESPN, so let me ask you the $1,000,000 question. Can this Duke team get to the final, get to Indiana?
You know, I think it's so unpredictable, depending on matchups, depending on, really, this is not a superb Super Duke team that we've been accustomed to over the years, but very capable of beating anyone on a neutral floor. They've proven that already, what they did to Gonzaga, Connecticut.
Is there a wild card? Is there a difference maker on this Duke team who can take them to that level between now and the end of the season?
I think the guy that's got to give them more basketball, I think he's capable of it, is Mason Plumlee. I think the big fella is certainly able to contribute a lot more, like he did against Wake Forest when they had 19 and 14. I think if there's one thing about Mike Krzyzewski's teams, they normally get the most out of every player.
Under 2 to go, and the lead has been stretched out to 14 after the Seminoles battled and battled to get within 4, but missed layups, missed free throws. They've really been their own worst enemy here tonight. Tough one by Olive. Weak side rebound Smith. And it's all but over now.
It's done. Academic. It's history. Put it in the book. Another W, 43-2 in the last 3 years. The only 2 losses to Roy Williams and North Carolina.
Snare knocks down the 3. Leonard Hamilton will take a timeout.
Now you look across the landscape in college basketball, and certainly when you look out there, Duke's capable of beating any of those clubs up on top right now. I mean, you look at any of those teams on a given day, they can beat a Kentucky, they can beat a Kansas. Even though I think right now the best teams in the nation are Kansas, Syracuse, and Villanova.
Villanova's, all three of those schools are absolutely terrific. We'll see Kansas Saturday night at Kansas State. No more undefeated teams after Devin Downey and the Gamecocks knock off #1 Kentucky last night. Cole Aldridge is starting to get it together. He had an illness earlier in the season and lost a family member as well, but the numbers are starting to come around with Sharon Collins. Boy, Kansas is loaded. And how about a little love for Aubrey Coleman down at Houston, leading the NCAA in scoring.
Hey, what about a guy named Xavier Millsap doing a great job? Elijah Millsap plays for UAB. They're 18-2 and 19-12 yesterday. They beat a good Tulsa team.
A win here for Duke, and they will go to 5-2 in conference play. They're going to step out of conference and play at Georgetown on the weekend before they come home next week to take on Georgia Tech on ESPN2.
Well, Florida State's going to one of my favorite cities, Boston. And take on Boston College.
And a foul is going to send Shire back to the line, and that leads us nicely into our Liberty Mutual player of the game, John Shire, who had been struggling shooting the ball in conference play. No such problem for Shire tonight.
Well. Made a lot of big shots.
Only the 5th team foul, or make it, I guess, the 6th team foul now on Florida State, so they're still one shy of putting Duke on the line.
Here's Duke spreading the court. They do an exceptional job. You know, I mentioned they're going to Boston College. I don't know about you, but I see some of the matchups in conference. I mean, Boston College to me belongs in the Big East. I agree with Rick Majerus. He was screaming about the fact that St. Louis belongs in the Missouri Valley instead of the Atlantic 10. I agree with him.
The geography doesn't make some sense sometimes.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Some of the matchups and some of the conference affiliations.
But you know, it's about football and dollars.
It's football is dollars. It's always about dollars, dollars, and dollars.
Dawkins out. Miles Plumlee back in. Lance Thomas to the line for the Blue Devils.
You know, methodical victory. Duke, Florida State challenged them a little bit here in the second half, but then Duke made some big plays and going to go to the locker room with a W.
Thomas misses the front end.
Tell you one thing, I was really impressed with Snare. I love his driving ability. I like Singleton. Singleton just got to work on that free throw line.
Singleton knocks down the 3. Another assist for Derwin Kitchen. He's got 10 assists in this game. A remarkable performance for the Florida State point guard as we check in with Heather Cox.
Earlier in the game, you guys were talking about Tony Douglas for Florida State and just how much the Seminoles miss not only his numbers, but his work ethic. In fact, one ACC coach said this week, if the Seminoles still had him, they'd be a Final Four team. But now Tony Douglas is in the NBA with the New York Knicks, and I actually talked to Tony on the phone earlier today. He and his current teammate, but former Duke Blue Devil, Chris Duhon, are watching the game together in New York. Tony told me he's living his dream with the Knicks. He credits his success to all the hours he spent in the gym and the fill room. He also called Coach Hamilton and a few teammates today to give him a pep talk, but I am guessing that there is a whole lot of trash talking going on between Tony Douglas and Chris Duhon right about now, guys.
Well, I hope right now, Heather, I hope Tony Douglas did go out and wager a dinner on the game because Mr. Duhon's going to be the victor.
Look at this guy. He's hanging in there.
Yeah,
he's on an island all to himself in the student section right now here at the Cameron. And Florida State has played hard. And again, if you haven't been with us for all this game, Dick, if they could have finished some layups and free throws, this would be a whole different game.
Yeah, it'd be a close basketball game, but obviously they didn't. And also, you got to credit Duke's defensive ability.
22 turnovers as well committed by FSU.
Mike Krzyzewski told us before the game, we got to make them turn the ball over. That was going to be an important factor in the game, and they did. 22 turnovers. Florida State, very young basketball team, a team that should progress and get better. And the other point, they're making an adjustment. They got kids playing a lot of different positions. For example, Kitchen trying to be a point guard. Singleton going from a post guy in high school to play in the wing. And it's a big adjustment. You got Allaby just learning how to play the game.
He talked about it in the halftime in the interview going off the court with Heather, saying, you know, they got juniors and seniors, we've got sophomores, and he thought they were a little bit rattled in the first half. They were down 10 at halftime. They're down 10 right now.
They battled back to get it down within 4, but they missed some crucial free throws. That was a big sequence when they missed and had all those offensive rebounds and they couldn't convert.
And Mike Krzyzewski will use a timeout.
They had one great moment down in Florida State basketball back in 1972. They went to the championship game before they lost to UCLA. And the big redhead, who had 24 in that game, Bill Walton.
Dick, let's check out the upcoming schedule for Duke. We mentioned a big-time game as they step out of conference and go to Georgetown on the weekend, and then they come back for Georgia Tech, a very good team with a lot of size as well. Favors and Lawal and Peacock back out on the road, and you and I will have them in Chapel Hill. We'll see them in that game February the 10th, the first of 2 regular season meetings between Duke and North Carolina. Duke, the way it works in the ACC, you have 2 permanent partners who you automatically are going to play twice every season. Then others will spread it around who you play twice. But Duke is partnered up with North Carolina and Maryland year after year as their partners.
And that means 4 really tough basketball games. I got a feeling you're going to see North Carolina go on a little bit of a run. I really do. They had a good performance yesterday from Strickland and Drew. Very important to get good perimeter play. They're just too good on the interior.
Fouls on Pierre Jordan, who has checked into the game, and the best free throw shooter that Duke has, John Shire, is going to the line.
That's a nightmare for an opposing club trying to get back in the game. When you look up there and you see Shire standing at that charity stripe, because it is charity for this kid.
1-1 for Shire.
90%.
Mom and Dad looking on as always here at Cameron.
Can't wait for Saturday night to see that guard combination, Pullen Clemente.
Yep.
That'll be interesting. And then you look at Kansas with Sharon Williams.
Sharon Collins.
Collins, I said Williams. I said.
Yeah. And Cole Aldridge.
That's my bedtime.
We'll see the fire in Frank Martin's eyes firsthand at Kansas State. They've got a good team.
Had that great win over Texas. Sharon's going to get all over my case. I was looking at Corey Williams down there. That's what I was thinking about Williams when he played at Oklahoma State. He was tough, man. He was tough. Played for Leonard Hamilton there.
And a pair for Shire.
Automatic, such soft touch. Great rotation.
Kitchen stays in bounds. Jordan for 3. And we'll see if Leonard Hamilton calls off the dogs here and says no more fouls. He was trying to, but Singleton didn't see him.
Well, Shire loves that because he's going to get another deuce in the book.
Yeah.
Very methodical win. Solid performance, especially defensively.
Well, we saw them hold Clemson to 47 points.
Well, a total of 102 games.
Right.
Yeah.
47 points here early in the season, 53 points, or 47, excuse me, Saturday night at Clemson. And now they've held Florida State to 56 here. This is a different kind of a Duke team. They don't force as many turnovers, generally speaking, although they forced a lot tonight. They've got more front court guys, not as many back court guys. They win games in a different fashion than they have in years past. But you know what, Dick? 17-3 is 17-3.
And people say, what's happened to Duke? They're 17-3. Give me a break. They've had 10 seasons, Mike Krzyzewski, with 30 or more wins, including last year's 30-7 before losing to a good Villanova team.
You know they've been ranked in the top 10 in 48 straight polls.
Wow. Had a high NBA, 14 players on NBA opening night rosters. UCLA right up there as well.
You saw SportsCenter was coming up next year on ESPN. Duke is 22 seconds away from a victory.
Got some great kids coming in next year. Not only Irving, Joshua Hairston, the inside presence. Tyler Thornton, a point guard they say could be a lot to Tommy Amica.
And the Duke Blue Devils withstand a charge by Florida State midway through the second half and win going away 70-56 to go to 17-3 on the season and 5-2 now in ACC play. Florida State drops to 15-5, 3-3 in the ACC.
43-2 now in the last 3 years. The only 2 losses to North Carolina and the Tar Heels. Tough place to come and get a W here in front of the Cameron Indoor Crazies.
An enjoyable night for the Crazies here as a part of ESPNU Campus Connection Week. 70-56. Duke's up to 5-2. Maryland still leading the way at 4-1, and Florida State drops into the middle of the pack, now tied with Georgia Tech for 5th in the ACC. But of course, you can see how tight it is. A lot is going to change in the next few weeks. Heather Cox is standing by with John Shire.
Dan, thanks so much, John. Congratulations on the win. Now, with about 8 minutes left, Florida State cut it to 4 points. In your mind, what do you think the turning point was?
Well, I just thought we were getting some decent shots, but we weren't getting great shots, and we weren't really rebounding that well. And once we got some stops and were able to rebound, we were able to push the lead.
Now, Coach K told me before the game that it's been a while since his big three, you and Kyle and Nolan Smith, have all played well on the same night. Tonight, you guys combined for 53. How'd you guys all get in sync?
Well, I think it was good. I think we, because we haven't played, I should say, shot the ball that well. We really have been working hard the last couple of days and want to come out and have a good game because the team depends on us and we want to be there for them.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Dan?
All right, thank you, Heather. Well, they combined for 53 tonight. That's exactly what they average as a trio per game this season. That helped lead Duke to a victory here tonight, 70-56. Stay tuned for Sports Center next year on ESPN. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Dick Vitale, Heather Cox, and our crew, I'm Dan Schulman, saying thanks for watching and good night from Cameron Indoor Stadium here in Durham.
This SportsCenter telecast is brought to you in high definition by Vizio.